to nobody else. Come here to get lit, get lit. Real talk, real life. Hey, we got the problems that you need to talk about. With your mama, come get it, get lit. Wheel it, wheel it, wheel it, wheel it.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is your host, Evelyn Joy Coker, licensed clinical social worker, coach for teen girls and therapists. And we're here today for episode 2. It's deeper than that. And I am so excited to have our teen guest today. Shiane and I will be talking to her about teen friendships. Okay. And so we're going to get Paris's thoughts about, how important teen relationships are, what her experience has been. And we're going to have a great conversation with her that hopefully informs a lot of teen girls about the decisions they make about the people in their lives. But before we bring Paris, Cheyenne, just want to check in with you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Hey, everyone. Hey, Paris.
Good, good. So, talk to me a little bit about some of the relationships in your life when you were a teen. What would you say were, like the quality of those relationships? And I keep putting you like outside of the teen range, so I don't want to take your last year of teenage life away
Right.
from you.
My last couple
Um,
months.
yeah, but talk to us a little bit about the teen relationships that you've had coming up.
Well, I feel like as I grew up, some of them became more weary. Like when we were younger, like we were like this, playing on the playscape, the playground, sleepovers, you have it. But I feel like as we got older and some of my friends went to different schools or, started to get influenced by things, good or bad, that's when I feel like the relationships began to change and I had to realize, okay, I only need good people in my life. So for some periods of time, I had some drama in my friendships, and some people in friendships I had to let go.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so right now we are going to invite Paris into the conversations. She is a wonderful, talented, very sweet 16-year-old from Chicago. She currently lives in one of the Chicagoland suburbs. And so, welcome, Paris.
Hey,
Hello.
Paris.
Hey, Paris, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, just some interesting things so they can kind of get a sense of who you are and what makes you so wonderful?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Paris Ward. I'm 16 years old. I am now a junior in high school, and right now, like, some interesting facts about me is that I'm a singer. I'm going with performing arts, and I like sports, and um, I'm a very fashionable person. So I like clothes a lot. Um, Another thing is that I'm also good with instruments. I learned marimba at my school, but I was born in my church, so I was the church drummer for the children's choir. And um, another interesting fact is that I'm really good at drawing or just any art in that matter. So like I'm good at like drawing, painting, coloring, stuff like that. And I really like music. I love different kinds of music, but my favorite kind of music is K-pop, which is like slang for like Korean pop. And and another thing is that I'm I love multiple sports. I usually get that from my dad because my dad was a basketball player back in his day, and he grew me up with learning how to swim, so I learned how to swim really good. So I'm a swimmer, and I'm also good with like badminton, volleyball, basketball, sometimes football. I'm just all around and stuff. And I guess that's technically it. So yeah.
So you're also in a few clubs at your school. Tell us about what clubs you're a part of.
Yeah, so like I said, like I like multiple kinds of music, and but my favorite is K-pop. So the at my school we have this club called K Thanks, and what K Thanks is just like a club just for like K-pop fans or like people wanting to learn more about the Korean culture. And it's a really fun club. Like it's not really big because honestly, I don't really think there's a lot of K-pop fans in my school. We're pretty like small, probably like a minimum of like to like 7 kids, but like at a total is like 9. Adding on to the two like leaders of the club, but we're not that big, but it's a really fun club. Also another club that I'm in, well, I kind of was in. I was in the speech club, and what what we did in speech is that we every Saturday we traveled to different schools to compete against other schools, and the category of speech that I was in was called OC, which is called original comedy, and it was um basically me having to write my own like humorous like skit, and so I had to write my own piece and then perform it in front of people, and I did that for like a good like year or like a couple of months or so. It was really fun, but I kind of stopped like after this whole like coronavirus and quarantine starts stuff started happening, because like now my school is, well, was, because now I'm a hybrid in my school now. So I go there on 2 days, which is Thursday and Friday, but then I stay home on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So the thing is that like so the thing is that like um so the way that my school works is that I go there for Thursday, Friday, and only stay there for 4 hours. Like before, it was like 8 to 3. Now it's like 8 to 12. So so that happens, but um until like all this like coronavirus and quarantine stuff started happening, my school was mostly online, and like I'm just and just the point of just getting used to that, but like also like having to um add more stuff into it, it was kind of complicated because I was just getting used to just the online school in general. And I'm also in a choir because I told you that I sing. um
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a choir in my school, and the and like my choir teacher, he he wanted us to work with singing like through like a screen. And also we have like these little online concerts. We have an online concert coming up. We're now working on the songs. We kind of finished one of them. It was 2 songs, one of them being Be Our Guest by Beauty and the Beast, and You Can't Stop the Beat from the Broadway show
Hairspray.
Hairspray. Yeah. um but yeah,
Are
so we're
those
technically,
open to the public?
Yeah, can I come?
Like, can we share that on like the social media? Like, come support Paris in this production. Can we do that? Is it open, or is it just for
um
like your school?
Um, n- I, I think I think so. He said that when he puts like all the clips together, he said he's probably gonna send it out to like YouTube or something. So you could probably like look it
Oh,
up.
nice.
Yeah.
We'll make
So
sure we definitely share that. But
Of
I want to
course.
switch gears a little bit, and have you. This question will sound familiar, but
okay.
if you could pick a character from a book or a movie that kind of describes you or your life, what character would that be?
Um, a character that I think I would be as is Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think I think that I would possibly be Um, um, you said any show or book?
Yep,
Hmm.
it can be a book, a movie, a show.
Oh, okay. I think I would be um. It's this so it'll be like this girl. So have you ever heard of this show off of Disney Channel called Descendants?
Yeah.
With Mal and Evie in them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you know like the girl that plays that blue pirate? She's like the
China.
leader. Yeah,
Uma.
China. Yeah,
Hmm.
her. I think I would be her because like I watch a lot of her videos, and one, she's really good at singing. Two,
Hmm.
she looks like she's like a really good like leader. She's really confident in herself, really loyal, very pretty, and like I just I just feel like with me just in life and also Luma from the show, just them just like to I feel like um minds and her traits are like really related together. So I'm pretty sure I'll match with Luma from Descendants.
How would you describe her friendships? Because Uma had so for those of you that don't know, um, Descendants is a Disney production, show about the children of the villains. Okay, I'm smiling for those of you all that see me, and those that will be listening. You'll hear the joy in my voice because I kind of get to relive my childhood by experiencing Disney all over again. So that's super cool to me. But anyway, so Uma is Ursula's daughter, just so everybody can have some context. So that means Uma has a little bit of, an edge. So you talked about she's a leader. She is definitely running her pack. How would you describe the friendships that she had? One being a villain, and you can even talk about how her friendships evolved over the course of the three movies.
Um, so like I'll be like 100% honest. I'm not technically like a Descendants fan. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
Yeah, so like I saw like clips of Descendants, and I saw Luma basically because she plays as China, and in my childhood I loved the show Ant Farm, and
Right.
yeah, like I grew up on that show, and when I found out that she was playing another show of a Descendants, technically every clip that I would see by Descendants would possibly have her in it, and she always like have like my attention and stuff. But what I would think that her relationship will be with the other characters in the show, I think she'll kind of be like the type of like bossy type of look, like type of like the big dog of the group. But and then like she's like gonna have to like learn how to like step down to like their level so that they can have like a good relationship. But I would think just by like the start of the show, like the start of like her being in the series, she would probably be like bossy, or um like really like like cocky and all that, stuff like that. And I just really like that part of her.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I grew up being called bossy, and I can't help that I'm a natural born leader. And of course, I've had to grow really because there is a certain way of leading people where they don't have to feel like you're just telling them every single thing to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to allow people to make decisions and decide how they want to go about some things. So it's definitely kind of like a craft, but she was very confident, and she knew what she wanted and she went after it. But her relationships did kind of evolve over the course of the three movies. So whereas someone may have started out as her enemy, by the end of the third movie they were friends. And that can almost kind of also reflect how friendships can be for teen girls. Like there's this frenemy thing that goes on in relationships that really starts as early as preteens. And you could end up becoming good friends with someone that, you never imagined, because as you grow and mature, you can just see things differently about people. And so the teenage, kind of the adolescent phase, I'll say, is a time where, teenagers are really trying to figure out who they are separate from their families, separate from their parents. And so they lean a lot towards peer relationships. Like that's totally normal. And it's something that happens, to everybody during their adolescent stage. How do you think friendships influence a person's life?
Um, I think I think that like just being in like a group of just girls that like, 'cause you know how like people have like different paths and like different lives and stuff, right? And they live different lives and like not everyone's the same. And just technically just being in like a friend group just by itself, and you just living your life, bringing yourself to the outdoor world and becoming social with different people. I feel like um just like in my case, because like I'm a really like outgoing and like extroverted person, like dealing with like other people.
Mm-hmm.
And um and so like I before I went to high school, my elementary school was like really hype. You know, I matched everyone's energy there. Like I still like hold like a lot of friends that I had in elementary. When I went to high school, it was like a big change. Like not everyone's like type of hype now, and they're not like me, you know, and like not everyone matches my energy. Like you can go to my high school, you can see like introverts and like gothy people, serious people, cocky people, all different kinds of kids. And just me just being there, I'm gonna have to learn how to like match up with them. Now I have friends in my high school that like match my energy too. Like I'm not saying that there's like no people that match like my extroverted outgoing energy in my high school. No, I have a lot of my those friends there. And the thing is that like when I'm like with like one of my friends that like has like a different like aura and era of me, I wouldn't really technically like try to make them change. I'll just try to like introduce them to the world a little more, and like just try to like, like just like open them up a little bit. I wouldn't like try to like force them to just like do stuff that they don't feel comfortable with, because I don't roll like that. I would just try to like stoop to their level and then like make them get more comfortable until they can feel like they can like open up like me.
Mm.
So technically just being in like a friend group, I feel like the friend's job is to just influence their friend good enough so that they can feel comfortable in the world like they are.
Nice. So we know that um, some relationships don't actually get influence you in positive ways. So it's always kind of both sides. Friendship and peer relationships can be something called a protective factor. So that means if you have good friendships, high quality relationships with people that influence you in positive ways, that it can help protect you from getting into negative things in life. But then you can also have friendships that are like a risk factor. It puts you at risk of getting into negative things in life. How would you describe, Paris, a healthy friendship? What would a healthy friendship look like?
Um, a healthy friendship is technically like everything that it takes to just be in a friendship. You know, trust, love, loyalty,
Mm.
a match of heart. You know, always having each other's back, never leaving their side, always trying to look at the bright side. And if your friend is in trouble, try everything that you can to help them out, because you need to make them know that you're always going to be there for them. So technically that.
You just said something that was so beautiful. You said a match of hearts. Um, and I'm just so touched and amazed that at 16 years old, you're able to phrase it that way. Talk a little bit more about that because I want other teenagers to really reflect on the relationships that they have in their life. And to be honest, I see your grandma's here. I'm sure your mom is here. Hello, Adrian, Ebel. This can even be something that adults can reflect on in
Right.
in our life. Do the relationships that we have with people reflect a match of heart? Tell us a little bit more about what that means to you.
Um, what I mean by like a match of heart, I mean like technically like you two have like so much in common that like you two can basically just be like, like partners in crime and stuff. You know everything about them, they know everything about you, and like technically like what you need, they already have it in their mind, so that you don't even need to ask. And um another thing that can mean by match of heart, is technically just both of you knowing what to do and what not to do that can affect your relationship or your relationship with other people. Like like their boundaries, they know your boundaries. Like they like you know how like make them feel better, they know how to make you feel better. Like it's a pattern. Like it's like it's
Being
like
considerate.
yeah, it's like being considerate, and like technically just trying to put yourself in their shoes, and to just see like how life rolls in their life, and they can also do the same with you. They can put yourself in their shoes, and they can see how your life rolls, so that at the end of the day you two can fully understand each other.
Hmm. And from what you said, I also would think that by having a match of heart, it's your truest self, right? Because a lot of times, excuse me, people feel like they have to pretend to be someone else, or they have to make so many sacrifices in a relationship where you end up diluting yourself down into someone you don't even recognize just for the sake of the friendship or the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, I think that was well said, and I really appreciate that comment. It even, like I said, as an adult, gives me something to think about. How do you know when a friendship is becoming a little toxic and not so healthy?
um I feel like when a relationship is becoming toxic, when you find out that like you two are becoming like really distant, you find out that you guys are having more conflicts than y'all would usually have. um like you start questioning your own self. Like if you're doing anything wrong, you try to change yourself for them. You try to and like now like they're affecting your life badly. Everything in your life is becoming like going downhill and stuff. You know that like they're starting to make you feel uncomfortable, or you're starting to make them feel uncomfortable, where like you two don't even want to be together anymore. But then you two kind of like go to the point where you all like turn on each other like enemies. And it's crazy because like not even like a week ago, like y'all was just out chilling on the side of the sidewalk, just talking and chattering, like walking home and stuff. Now y'all like fighting in the middle of the school, arguing, about to throw hands. And yeah, I think that's when it becomes toxic.
Okay. So it's definitely a difference, though, between kind of growing apart and becoming distant. But a lot of the things that you mentioned can be in toxic relationships. Cheyenne, what do you think about that?
First of all, Paris, you're such an articulate young lady. Let's get that straight. Like, wow. Like, your
Absolutely.
level of thinking at 16 years old is immaculate.
Thank you.
Um, So I have a question for Paris, and like everything that you said, I totally agree with. So Miss Paris, when did you know with this friendship that was turning to walk away?
Like in my life.
Yeah, or in general. Like, you know,
Uh,
we're talking about toxicity, you know, you're questioning yourself, you know, am I doing anything wrong? When did you notice, like, you're not doing anything wrong? It's actually the other person. I should exit.
yeah, that's technically a good point that you said, because just yesterday, me and my mom was looking through my yearbook in my high school, and I pointed out this one girl that was literally like technically my first high school friendship, and where we're at right now, like it's to the point where I'm just gonna leave her, just let her go. We're not gonna be friends anymore, because what and I also talked to this with Ms. Joy, like I think like a couple of months ago, and her name was, and me and her was like this, like all through freshman year, even before freshman year. I'm pretty sure it was like freshman academy. Freshman academy is just like eighth graders like just learning the life of a freshman in the high school.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, so me and her like had like a tight bond like during freshman academy all through freshman year, and
Mhm.
then like it kept going until like mid sophomore year. And like when I'm telling you that y'all, we was tight, we was like tight. Like we would always make sure we had like the same classes. We always did everything we loved. We talked a lot, we chat a lot. And um like the thing with this toxic relationship that I had with her was that um remember when I said that like when I moved from my elementary school to my high school, it was like a big change.
Mhm.
So in my elementary school, I didn't see or know anybody that like suffered what went through in her life, because the thing was is that she suffers with anxiety and depression, and
Mhm.
she suffered so much that like when you look at her, where like her sleeves are like this, like you can literally see like she was cutting herself. So like she was cutting herself so much on both her arms, and like I just saw like the healed marks and all that. And I was like, I didn't want to bring it up because I felt like I was like going too much on her boundary, and like she probably didn't want to talk about that. But like it just bothered me so much, because I never had to deal with that ever in my elementary school. And like this is just so new. Like I'm like, oh my god, like she's like hurting herself, and like I don't even know what to do. Like I never ever done this ever in my life. I don't know how I'm supposed to help. So I went to my counselor without knowing. I went to my counselor and I talked to him about it, being like, hey, do you know that this girl is doing like da 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 da? Have you saw like she like suffers with severe depression? You can see like marks on herself. And she told me that like yeah, like her and her counselor, like they always like go through that. Like he or she always like checks on her and stuff, make sure she's okay. But like I always want to believe that. Like I do believe it. Like the teachers, like the counselors do everything that they can to help her, but it just boggles me, because I don't know like if I don't know what happens when she leaves the school. I don't know if she's like doing it more. I don't know if there's like someone like something or someone hurting her back at home, where like she does all this stuff like behind the doors until she comes into school. That's when I see her. But like when she leaves, I don't know what happens there. Even when I don't see her at school, because we don't have like every class together, like I don't I don't see her until I like have a class together with her. But I don't know like what happened. I don't know if someone's like bullying her at school, because like she's like a really quiet person, um like to other people, but like to me, we like talked a lot, we did so much a lot, like we was like homies. And I don't know what happens when I don't see her. And like I feel like that, and like in itself, what was like boggling her and like messing with her so much is what brung our relationship to an end. Because near the end of my sophomore year, like she started like not talking to me at all. Like all the text messages, it became like from like cool messages to just one sentence messages or just read. And then every time when I try to see her in person, she
What
either
does
walks
red
away.
mean?
Huh?
Tell us what does red mean?
Red means like you saw it but you didn't answer it.
Got
That's
it.
what red means. So like, and then every time I would see her at school, she would either walk away, she wouldn't talk to me, or she just got so quiet. You know, every time I try to talk to her, like she just looks at me like she just got like so uncomfortable and stuff. And that in that point, that's when I was like, okay, I gotta do something. Something's wrong with her. This never happened because she switched so fast.
Is
And
that what made you feel like she ghosted you?
yeah. That was technically like the start of like the ghosting because now when I said that okay, something's bothering her, I had to help her. Like this can't go on any longer. Like I need to get like a relationship back together. So that's when I started going to my counselor over and over again to try to like check on him and stuff. I always try to approach her, but she always like walks away. And then another one of my friends who's kind of also friends with like they're in a, like they're in a group chat together. And the thing is that now her and having problems too. And she said how like they was talking about me. And she showed me the text that they sent. And then I was looking at them and like my heart like broke. And I was like, what is happening? Because now while she was not coming to me, she was hanging out with other people. Now when me and was together, like I wouldn't disagree that she had other people to see. Like even when I leave, I have other people to see. Like we both live different lives with different people until we see to get see we until we see each other again. But like when I started like approaching her and stuff, trying to say hi and stuff, just just looked like blank face, like just no emotion. Like that never happened when we was like friends together. And so I never tried to like push myself on. I always just try to like talk, like open up, then like, you know, I remember I sent it this long, absolute long, like paragraph long text on Snapchat. And till this day, I can look on Snapchat right now. She has not answered it. She left it on red, like I said. And technically the main idea of the whole paragraph is to say that I don't know what I did to you or like what you think I done. But if it's anything, tell me what I did, because I don't know what I've done that could harm you or just make you feel uncomfortable around me to the point where you're not even talking to me, texting me, or even just looking at me anymore. But just know that like I'm always here to help you, and like you're my dog since day one. But she's just not just getting through her head. And then she just completely ghosts me to the point where like she won't even like walk my direction. If she even sees me, she'll walk away. I remember she was with three of my friends. So it was her with three of my other friends walking towards me while I was in the bathroom of my high school. I just got into school, so I went to the bathroom trying to fix myself up. And then when I walked out, the three of the girls saw me, but as soon as saw me, she just turned around and just walked away to the staircase next to her. And like I just try not to let that bother me so I can hang out with my three other friends. And then um I remember I just went to Mr. Krupa because um he's been with me. He heard this story with like millions and millions of times. And I remember since freshman year, she will always show me. So we both like Broadway shows, but the songs that she listened to are like really, really like it just makes you like get like chills and stuff. One, because I heard these songs before, but like I just never let it bother. I just never like searched it up. It'll probably like be like my recommended, and when I saw it, like it just gave me chills because adding on to her life and how she's working with all like this anxiety and depression and stuff. These songs were talking about like depression, suicide, like all this like cringy stuff, and this just boggling me, and this just like it's like making like my skin crawl and stuff. Like I just saying, Mr. Cooper, is there anything I can help with? And then this one day I went to Mr. Cooper and like I couldn't hold it in anymore. Like I had like a whole mental breakdown in his office because I'm saying like I don't want to get hurt. I don't want our relationship to like I don't want our relationship to just stop. I don't want it to end on a toxic note. And um like my heart was like hurting and stuff because I didn't know what I've done. It was just boggling my mind, me trying to find out what supposedly I done that made so like uncomfortable around me, and she just not talk to me for a long time now. And
Hey,
um
Paris, I don't want to cut you off. You can finish your thought in a sec, but I just want to kind of tease out a few things that you said that are really good learning, nuggets for people. You identified that your friend, and I'm not going to say her name, um, and I know it's been said already, but I'm just saying let's try to not say her name anymore.
okay,
You identified that she was dealing with some heavy stuff, you know, um, that it got to the point for you that you needed to go and talk to an adult about it. Right. And so that's something that a lot of times in our teen relationships, we keep secrets for each other. And we have to know at a certain point what is the difference between secrecy and privacy. And secrecy is always centered around, in my opinion, something harmful, right? So she was harming herself and she was going through things that you were not equipped to help her with. And
Right.
so you went to an adult. So I want to make sure that we tease that out, and that young ladies can really reflect on that. There may be things that your best friend or your close friend or your homie or your associate, however y'all call each other these days, they may be going through, that you need to make a decision to say, I have to tell somebody,
Right.
because this could end up being, life or death. And
Right.
another thing, it really exposed you to someone who was experiencing mental health issues, right? And that's something that in our Black and brown communities we don't talk about a lot. We see it, we know it exists, but some people are in denial about it or just don't talk about it.
Right.
But those types of things can also impact how a person relates to you and interacts with you in your peer relationships. So I
Right.
wanted to, be able to kind of stop and talk about that. That's really important to me, that teen girls think about, really doing what's best for one another. And that can sometimes include going to an adult about what's going on. But I
Yes.
think, Cheyenne, it looks like, were you trying to ask her a question? Another
I
question?
just Paris, I want to commend you. You with the situation with your friend, you realized that eventually it was bigger than you, right? And it wasn't necessarily your fault what who your friend was going through. You know, as you said, once you guys leave school, you don't know what she does. You don't know what she's going through. So for you to have the guts and the courage to bring it up to an adult, knowing that, you can only help so much, like this problem is bigger than me, I have to take it to the next level. I commend you for that because there's so many like misconceptions that go on with teens, whatever the topic may be. And usually the issue would just reside with the teens. They won't tell anyone. So then that affects the affected teen even more because there's no adult intervention. So you took the right step with talking to your counselor, following up with your counselor. And, they're not allowed to tell you everything about your friend, but I hopefully they gave you a little bit of information. She's okay, she's doing better, XYZ about your friend. So for you to you saw the problem, you weren't a bystander, and you brought the problem to the next appropriate person. So that's huge. That's big. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
yeah. And and I guess like I started like getting that idea that okay, I just can't help anymore. I did everything I could, but like and like in my head, I feel like I pushed myself. What my mom told me yesterday was that like that relationship just got like so just messed up and just mind boggling and toxic to the point that now with my whole dedication is to just make her feel better. And another thing that my mama said was that like you was probably getting to the point where you was so much in her business that like she just like couldn't like be by you anymore because now you're making your whole dedication on her and her life and trying to make her better, that she started feeling uncomfortable. And like um I told her that like but like I wasn't even like I wasn't trying to make her feel uncomfortable. I was just trying to at least get like something from her because like like I said, she switched up so fast from talking to me and hanging out with me and my friends, and we just hanging out, you know, talking, chewing, and da 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 da, to just ghosting, not talking to me anymore, and just making me feel worried. Cause now, like, um, the point that the relationship was so toxic and is like you said is way bigger than me, that is now starting to mess with me and my head and my emotions. My mom said that it's not that she probably ghosted you. It's probably just that God just took her away from you for a reason, because now like her problem is now becoming your problem, and now that problem is starting to mess with you, which it shouldn't, because it's her business. And God probably saw that and took the chance to take her away from you so that she won't be your problem anymore and you can still live your life good. But I just kept telling her like, but like I always like I want like this relationship to work. Like she was literally my number one, and like our relationship was so strong that like it can't just break like that. And like it just hits it just really makes my heart break that somehow someday I'm just gonna have to admit that okay, if she don't want to change, then it's not my problem anymore, and I'm not gonna keep bothering her with anything. I'm just gonna let her live her life. But it's just so hard to admit that because like she's suffering so much, and I always want to be there for her. And like and like um with her like that problem is like you said, I wasn't a bystander. I don't want to turn to a bystander and just see it and walk away. I want to help. If that is turning to the point where it's like affecting me like emotionally or like mentally or physically, then that has to stop.
You
And
know
I was like,
something that I've learned, Paris, and it's while you're talking, I'm literally thinking about one particular friend that I had in junior high that was one of my best friends. And I felt a sense of responsibility for her. And I had to learn with her, and I've had to learn this throughout my life. And I have to tell you that I'm still working on it. We can try to support people, right? But we can't make anybody better. We can't make them better. And we have to learn how to support people in the way they feel they need, not the way we think they need. And so, to your mom's point, maybe your friend thought you were all up in her business and too much of the focus was on her, and a lot of things that she was going through, some, you know, you don't want the focus on you, right? And that's a part of kind of like the negative side of what she's going through. But you got to remember, in life, you can't make people better. And like you said, at a certain point, you have to accept that I don't have a place in this person's life in this way right now, and kind of grow, um, to be okay with that. And so, would you say that you're still healing from that? Um,
um
where are you with
like
that journey?
um like I mean, like, yeah, like I feel like this is like my start of like just accepting that me and just can't be together anymore. Just um, cause like um, I guess my mama told me when she saw her in my yearbook, like like um like she didn't even smile in like her picture, and like compared to your smile, like to your smile and her smile, like you two just have like two different auras and stuff. And like and like remember when I said like a match of heart, like you two have to like match in some ways. So with me being like an outgoing, like extroverted, like hype up person, and Zoe being like a quiet introverted, like a low key, like suffering quiet girl, like if you just try to match that together, like the start of the relationship will be fun, and like you two can like learn more about each other, but like some way somehow, like you two are gonna have to learn that you two are like on two whole different paths, and it can work for a little bit, but it's really 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 complicated. So I just feel like yeah, like it still kind of hurts, but what my mom told me yesterday is just the only thing that you could possibly do for her is just pray, because you can't keep having her in your life if it's affecting you more than it's affecting her, because this is not even your problem, this is hers. But the point that you put yourself so much in her life that the problem is now becoming yours, it has to stop some way. Like, this is like a toxic relationship that can like affect like a person's like life, feelings, mentally, physically, like emotionally, like health. and
Yeah.
like and it's crazy because like I never experienced this before. Like, I never experienced a friend that I had that suffered with something this big, that it started affecting me. All the friends that I have are either like have like the same extroverted feelings as me. Like, we always have a good relationship. We're super strong. Like, everything that they're going through, like I could help them with it, and then it'll be easily like solved, and we can keep on going with their day. Our relationship was stuck. Like, and like where she was at, she was just stuck in this like hole of like just not telling me emotions or anything, or just not opening up to me. And the point that I'm trying to like reach out to her and like try to help her, knowing dang well that I possibly can't. And I'm just trying so hard, to the point where like it started like affecting me, and like my life, and like my goals in life. It's like getting in the way. It's like a big old obstacle. Like, my mom told me, yeah, she was a lot. Like, she was a lot to handle with you, because I never experienced this in my life. So it was a lot to just hold, and it'll be better if you just let it go, let it rest, just leave it alone, turn away. And the only possible thing you could do is just pray for her. Like, you can pray for her safety, pray that she's healthy, pray that nothing's bothering her in life, pray that she's possibly doing better, or just pray that she's just living life, just being herself, and making
What's
sure that
something
praying for her safety.
what's something that you can pray for yourself as you're praying for her? What can you pray for yourself about?
I mean, like, one, I pray for like my health. I pray, like, when I mean health, I mean like all three: mentally, emotionally, physically. I pray for that. I usually pray for my family a lot. Pray for my family, my friends. Um,
As it
like I
relates to that situation.
oh
Right.
that's oh
Like healing, understanding, clarity,
yeah, I just like
an
I just
open
pray.
heart.
Yeah, I pray for my heart a lot, because um like I pray for like my like mental, like emotional health, not technically physically, but like emotional and mental health, because like I just pray that like all that stress that I had with her will soon just be gone, and I can be able to go back in life again and not worry about her anymore. Cause like I said, like it was like my heart like broke and like it hurt. And but I'm praying that like someday I could just accept that I'm just gonna have to let it go and just not let it be my problem anymore. So yeah, I'm just praying that something will let me get my mind off of that.
Yeah. So we're actually running out of time. I want to give people an opportunity if they want to ask you any questions.
Okay.
Maybe we can get a question or two in here about your experience. I definitely feel like we could potentially do another episode, like a part two about this, to really talk more about the impact that the relationships can really have on you and different coping skills and more strategies, um, to be able to really deal with that. But just want to see if we have any questions for our teen guest Paris. We're going to give just a second to see if we have any of those. How do you feel having told your story about this?
I feel great. Like it was like a lot on my chest, and just the point that I can just let it out to the world. Like it was like a really big burden on me, to the point that I can just like let it go and tell people and see that people are like understanding it. It feels really good.
Yeah. What advice would you give another teen girl that may have a toxic relationship that they are thinking about letting go or they just let go? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that it was a good choice. Like letting go is technically just like accepting that it's just not your problem anymore, and you're just gonna leave it before it could damage you anymore. So if I met someone that just left out of like a toxic relationship, like if it was like a friendship or like a relationship with somebody, if it was like a job, like something like that, if they just like walked away from it, I would feel like really proud of them, because like they're free now. Like they're free from all like the stress and the pain and the suffering and the bothering of everyone.
Yeah,
Like so like stuff like that. Um
we have a
so
question for you.
um, so like
The
stuff like
question
that.
is, oh, I'm sorry, go finish the
Oh,
thought and then we have a question for you.
okay. So like if I met someone that like got out of like a toxic relationship, I would feel like really proud of them. So yeah.
Good. So your question is, how do you move on after this?
Um I feel like I need to start worrying about myself more. Like taking care of like myself and like my health and like doing what I love, what makes me happy. Um, and to just, like start like paying more attention to like me, like my mental, physical, like emotional health, and just pay attention to that more, to the point where like I love myself like more like every single day, and I can stop like trying to put myself in like other people's business that can affect me negatively, and which can like affect like my life in a bad way. um and I'm sorry. And if I ever get in like that type of like situation again, I need to just quickly realize that okay, this is not bad, this is not healthy. So I need to just leave while I still got the chance. So yeah, so I think what I would do to just move on is to just start doing what I love, focusing on me more.
We have another great question in here. Think about one of your most positive friendships. What is one thing that you noticed that was different about the way the two friendships made you feel emotionally? That was a great question.
I think one of my most positive relationships is like me and this girl, we're like sisters. Like she's one of my elementary girl. I'm one of my elementary friends. Her name is Charity, and me and her are like, when I say like we're sisters, like we're like sisters. Like we known each other since like fifth or like sixth grade, and till this day we still know each other. But it was a while since we like talked. Like I know her since I have her on my Snapchat, and I like she like looks at my story. I look at her story. I see what's going on in her life. She looks what I'm going through in my life. We text. Like we always try to find like days and like situations where we could possibly meet, because we haven't seen each other in a long time since this quarantine happened. Like I don't even think it was like 8 months ago. Like I think I haven't seen her in like a year. Like since
Mm,
quarantine, and like possibly somewhere around maybe 2019, somewhere around there. I haven't seen her in a long time. I've only heard her through the phone, and I'm like, girl, we have to find a day where we can like see each other. Like I miss you so much, and like we
mm,
need to get in contact again. But like with me and her, she's like super funny. She's really cute, really beautiful. She has such a positive energy. She's really funny. Like she matches like my traits so much that we finally said like, okay, girl, we're like sisters, because like we technically, like if you put us together in like a room, like our auras seem to be the same, and like we have such like a good bond together that like we can just go until like the end or something. And yeah, me and Charity, we're like sisters. Like we go through everything together. Everything that she's going through, I help her out with it. Everything that I go through, she helps with it. She always checks on me, being like, "Girl, like, are you okay?" And like, da 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 da. Like, I'm here for you. And everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So like, we talk about it.
mm.
We talk about it a lot, and like, yeah, I think that's one of my most successful relationships.
Shout out to Charity. Hey, girl, for being
Hey,
such a
charity
good friend.
girl.
One thing that you kind of described about your relationship with Charity is something that I think, is beautiful and something that I can relate to in some of my adult relationships. You can have people in your life that are kind of grounding for you, people who knew you during your formative years, and you can look back and see how important they were to your development and everything, and you don't have to talk to them every day, but you still love them. You know that they still love you, and the bond is always there. And I have relationships like that, and like I said, it can be so grounding, and there's a sense of safety in those relationships, because you don't feel like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in X amount of time, they're mad at me, or we're not friends anymore. You just know that you are friends. And that's another reason why I think we can maybe have Paris come back for part two. What do you think, Cheyenne? Because I think being able to talk about maintaining relationships during the quarantine can be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at a place,
Right.
and the CEO would say, we're supposed to be socially distant, but that really should just mean physically distant. And we can
Right.
still have meaningful ways of connecting, and
Mm-hmm.
really allowing our soul to be fed by being around people that we love. And so
Right.
it has been such a pleasure talking to you. I feel like you can have your own podcast, and I will definitely
Yeah,
be
the Paris
there.
show.
I will be a forever fan, like one of my
Yep.
friends says. Um, but I don't know. I guess I think this is a good place to just have you give any parting thoughts. And we thank everybody that came to listen today. You guys can find this video on YouTube in just a little while. And we are currently on Spotify. So please tell people about this. Anybody that's here supporting Paris, tell everybody, your friends, your family, and get people to support. Hey, Renaya, thank you so much for coming. But yeah, Paris, why don't you just give us any final thoughts and close us out?
I just want to say thank you to everyone that saw this and the family that's watching me. Hey, and it's been a really big pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for
Come
being
back
Bye.
here.
next time.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.